more of us are having to make use of remote working, and online meetings are becoming the norm for many business discussions. Here are my 5 top tips for making a success of your online meetings. My first tip is that I observe that online meetings can be like knitwear. They lose their shape quickly. So introduce a framework for your discussion. It might be a negotiation plan, it might be a structured agenda where at certain times you agree to make decisions, it might be a framework for decision making. Whatever it is, it helps people keep focused on the outcomes and moving forward to decision-making points. My second tip is don't fear the void. In a face-to-face discussion, people feel very comfortable with silence as colleagues take refreshments, take time to think, or maybe make notes. But silences are fiercely apparent in an online session, and they can easily be misinterpreted as disgruntlement, dissent, or discomfort of some kind. And so my recommendation is don't fear those silences, maybe build in some time at the end of each topic for note-taking and for some thoughts before moving on. My third tip is to control your inner web bore. People fatigue very quickly in online meetings compared to a face-to-face discussion, and so it may be useful to have multiple micro sessions with small decisions being made in each. In face-to-face meetings, people find other humans fascinating as they watch their choice of words, their reactions and their expressions, all of these things in full technicolor. But these nuances are not so apparent with the flatness of image that you get online, and somehow this lack of sensory input can mean that the brain becomes less stimulated and speakers start to drone. For this reason, it can be useful to change your facilitator to keep the energy going in online meetings. My fourth tip is to take some props. All kinds of props are useful, maybe images on screen that resonate with your audience, use humour, are very relevant to the topic in hand, or get ideas moving forwards. It can be useful to use collaboration tools in your online meeting, like whiteboards that are very useful for documenting if certain points were made, or perhaps for brainstorming where everybody's sharing ideas. And similarly, voting buttons can be useful tools. They're a good way of getting everyone to check in to make sure that everyone is still present, and also useful as a way of gathering factual information. They can be, less useful for decision making in negotiation. They can make people feel exposed with the transparency of voting, and it can also make negotiators start to use phrases like "let's split the difference" or "I'll meet you halfway," which are big no-nos in negotiation, and they demonstrate that there isn't a concession plan in place. And my final point is to avoid the looks that can kill. In an online discussion, sometimes without an audience, people consider less their body language, and when one is relaxed online, it can appear if that person is disengaged, or worse, relaxed body language can come across as negativity. It may also be the case that speakers start to perform to the camera, and so conscious are they of video that the content of the discussion is less attended to. If that's the case, agree not to have video, or have video for the first 5 minutes as people introduce themselves, whatever it takes for people to feel comfortable and to keep conversation flowing, and to allow everyone to save face and not have to say, "I don't want to see you and I don't want to see myself either" in this online meeting. However you approach it, if you're having successes, do share your experiences and your learning with your colleagues, and celebrate the fact that you'll keep working, you're keeping moving forward, and you're making a success of your online meetings.